Is it wearing in the center or over to the side? What's going on there? You want to pay attention to the growth you come back to. When I was trimming the heels out of horses, okay, and I was trimming a lot, like every 4 weeks, you know, keeping it up. And now, as I said, the apex of the frog can move all around. But one thing that does happen is this apex, it'll grow high, and then it'll lay over forward into the sole right here. And then it's going to choke out the sole underneath it. So you have to keep a boundary on this apex of the frog. Now, another thing that happens is if your toe, now this mare's toe is not stretched forward. She's got some sole ridge and some concavity and some sole and good, nice, thick hoof walls. But you might not have that. And a lot of times when this whole foot stretches forward, the apex of the frog will stretch forward. And what I do then is with the foot standing, okay, I sight down. I'll have to show you some pictures later, but I will sight down from the side of the foot here because I know that the apex, true apex of the frog is straight down that way. Okay, and so I will come over here, I will lay up my pin, and I will, now this is all kind of by eye, so you kind of have to be careful. Okay, just a minute. It takes practice. Okay, so I drew my mark right here. You have to really practice this. So that's telling me that the true apex of my frog is right about where I have it right there. Okay, that's one way of looking for the true apex of the frog. But you start out by trimming off this right here. Just a minute. Okay, and as I said, you're going to want to trim up this frog. See how she had this? You know, you'd want to trim off all this frog. Yeah, I could have trimmed off her whole frog here. I don't have my gloves on. I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to trim out the center or the collateral groove here, straighten that up. I don't want it growing up and pushing over into the frog here. Okay, so you find the true apex of the frog, which is just right there. Just perfect. I'm going to mark it. This is a back foot, by the way. And see, her feet went right to 1.5 inches, the white line right here. See there? Okay, so first I'm going to draw a line straight down the foot. Okay, then I'm going to come up straight across the toe. Right there. Okay, I'm going to come back here. It's kind of hard to get lined up sometimes with the back of that foot. Okay, so here's my toe. On a wild horse, okay, this is rolled right here. There is no leverage in this little spot here. When they go forward, it rolls from sole to wall very smoothly. Yeah, this horse already does, this is a back foot, already does have some good sole. Not as good as it should be, though. It's still not real thick. You know, again, we're going to have to work with you on horses whose walls are flared and the sole is thin. Okay? Now, sometimes the wall, instead of growing down and past like this so you can cut it off, it's so flared that it's out flat like that. See? the wall would grow out and then like that. It won't grow beyond the sole. Does anybody ever have that problem? You know, okay. So what you have to do then, you still have to rasp that wall back. See, on this horse, if she would have gone a little longer, the wall would have grown out like this. Okay, see how that wall's grown out like that? But I have had horses where the wall grew out horizontally the same level as the sole. Okay, like this, instead of sticking, trying to get in there, instead of sticking up like this, it would just be flat and going like that. In that case, you still rasp it back to the sole. See? What you're going to do is you're going to create a boundary for it so there's no leverage on the wall, and then the wall will grow down. The wall will grow down. Let's see where I'm at. The wall will go down connected here. See, instead of like this, because see what happens is it grows out and then goes out like that. Instead of growing straight down and past the bottom of the wall here. So you still got to rasp that back. Okay, so where am I at here? What I really want to show you is the, okay, now I'm going to go 1.5 inches back from there. And mark where my heels are. Now on my gilding, my front feet, it don't turn out like this because his heels are so far forward right here. Boy, that doesn't look very even, does it? Let me redo that. It's pretty bad when you can't even mark a straight line. Okay, that's a little better. All right. Now, your heels. There you are. You're going to want to draw from there down to right where the hairs grow up. And from there, straight down, right to where the hairs start to grow up, where the periopal ends right there. And you would measure them from there. See, I'm right at 2 inches there. I think. I can't see. Okay. I'm not going to do anything with these particular heels because they're just barely over 1.5 inches. So I wouldn't do anything with those heels. Okay, here's the side of my frog, right here and right here. I would bring this in here. See, these bars really aren't too whacked out. Here, right here. Okay. Now this bar has grown up and is over into here. Just a minute. You can do your wall. I'm going to go ahead and do this bar and show you something now. See, my line is over here in alignment with that. You see that? So I never, ever do this on the sole. If you're going to take any sole out, you do this. See that? Okay, you can get a short hold, and I'm going to just take that over. Yeah, this bar has grown clear up and over into here. I'm not going into the sole, but the bar wall, I am following the bar wall over to this line. It'll go over and then it'll go kind of down. Okay, see how I opened up the seat of the corn right there once I got that bar over? See, this is why I wish they'd had their HD. See the nice short hold you get on that? And you're following the bar wall. You're not going into the sole. Okay, it takes some practice, but you want to get this bar wall straight with that line that you drew right to there. Okay, now, and I don't want any ledges, so if I made a ledge there, I'm just going to round it off just a hair. Okay, and right up here in the corner, you want to make sure you get this corner cleaned out up here, so that the bar wall isn't pushing the heel out. Okay, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do the same thing. Try to not cut myself. Just a minute. Now, your bars, this wall goes down like that. So your bar wall should be about the height of the sole, but not above the sole, because the bar does not really bear weight alone at all. Look at here. This is the other foot. Okay, let's put this over here. This is the other foot right here, the back foot of this one. Okay, now, I don't know how well you can see it or not. Okay, but you see this right here? That is really a tender part of the foot. Now, your bar grows from here up. If you allow your bar to grow up and bear weight, it's going to jam up into the sensitive part of the foot right here. You know, wall jams up, bar wall jams up, regular wall jams up. You know, so your bar, it tapers down this way. It's straight like that. And this is all sole in here. You want this all open so that you have a nice sole platform. And you don't want your bars bearing weight, because they will jam up into the foot and push up in here just like a ingrown toenail right in there. Okay, so your bars, just a minute. Let me brush it off. You want an alignment there with the sides of the frog. Okay, you want to just kind of keep this clean right in here. Don't let a lot of sole build up. You know, if you let a bunch of big chunks of junk accumulate in here, okay, it's going to kill the sole underneath it, just like it kills grass, just like you have a rock in your shoe. So it's all right to smooth things out. You don't have to have a bunch of big lumps and bumps and stuff like that. You know, look at this foot. Look at that foot. Look at how smooth this foot is that grows the sole corium. See, you don't have a bunch of big, huge chunks that, you know, if you've got that, that's going to choke your sole out from growing. Does that make sense? Got any yeses? Okay. Now, the first time you kind of clean out your sole a little bit, your sole might be thin. Okay, because it's quit growing where you have allowed big, huge chunks to accumulate right in here. I will show you pictures of where they've done hoof dissections and pulled the hoof capsule off like this. You can see the inside of the hoof capsule, and you can see the foot here, and you can see how this part of the foot was just damaged from the big chunks of sole that they let accumulate right here. These horses don't wear their feet. Yeah, you can let some of that sole build up. See the underside of the coffin bone here? Okay, this part is convex, your sole ridge. This is where it gets concave under here. Okay, and it's very smooth, you know, and so because these horses don't really wear their feet, if you look at the wild horses, they might have a little bit built up right here, but it's smooth. Their feet are worn smooth, not big chunks. Like that would be like having a rock in your shoe, you know, hard, heavy clump of something pushing up into the bottom of the foot here. Okay. All right. Now, the object of this trim is just to set the foot up to correct itself and to grow. That's the object of the trim. You're growing a good foot. You're not trimming a good foot. You're just getting everything. You're getting the boundaries of everything here. So I would come in here. I would trim up my frog pretty good, better than what I got here. I would trim out my central sulcus here. See? Yeah, do not be afraid to trim up that frog. See, I would trim out this. I would get down to clean frog on this little frog here. Ah, come on. You know, and right here, you can kind of clean that out there. You know, because remember, the frog grows, and what's it do? It'll fill up everything and smash everything and kill off your soul and everything else. Okay. See, I'm just defining everything a little bit, getting the dead frog off. Of course, it's all dead now. Okay. I'm going to take this down just a little bit here. Okay, and you can clean out the seed of your corn here a little bit, but you really want to get up and around here. All right. Now, I'm ready to rasp the walls the way I want. I just got to find my rasp. I had a little baby rasp. Oh, here it is. It's my pony rasp. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the toe back like this. See the angle of the rasp? I will bring the toe back to that little line across there. So I will come in here. And I'm going to bring that straight across there. See there? Now I've got an angle at that. And I'm going to come right back to that line. You see there? I'll tell you about, somebody asked here about the bar lump. I will tell you about that in a minute, okay? Somebody remind me of that when I'm done here. Now, the reason I'm bringing that all the way over, I want to bring this back to the white line, to my line, across the whole thing. Now, why is that? let's see. Okay, because if you look at these wild horses, right here, there is no leverage to this white line. This toe rolls, that's the breakover right here. There is no leverage on this wall pulling it forward. Okay, now I'm not finished with it yet, but I have it trimmed at an angle. Do you see that? Yeah, about 45 degrees. Katusha, I will answer that later. Okay. All right. Now, I have gone at an angle here. Okay. About a 45-degree angle. I could go a little bit steeper on that. And you want to go all the way across. Again. See it? Okay. Now, again, the reason I do that is because how the wild horse wears his toe right in the front here so that this just rounds off right here. And there's no leverage on the wall, pulling this dorsal wall forward. Yet, there's still the strength of the wall all the way down here, still really at giving support to this sole here. Okay, now for the pillars, I'm going to lay my last flat. Again, this is about a 45. This is going to be flat, and I'm just going to take it down to the level of the sole. Okay, right there, I'm to the level of the sole. Now, if I wanted to, I could get a clean white line there, you know, by taking it more. But I don't know if I want to take it that much. Okay, so I've got a clean white line all here. And if you hit the quarter, that's all right too. Just to the level of the sole right there. Now I'm going to do this side. Again, flat on the side of the toe. Okay, I'm paying attention. I don't want to really go into my sole here. Okay, now I'm going to lay my rasp at an angle again, and this time I'm going to come in all the way to the white line. Now, this is what I've been doing. It's been working well as far as getting the foot to remodel. Sometimes if I have a pillar here that is really stretched out, I will kind of leave this for one trim, and I will take my pillar back to the white line. It's all about working with the horn tubules and getting everything, all of this wall to come up tight and pick this foot up again. Okay, so I will come in here like so. Okay, so that is beveled at about a 45 degree to the white line. Now, the reason I do that in the quarters is because we leave the quarters too high, and it causes hoof distortion, and it also prevents the foot from remodeling. Now, wild horse, I'm bleeding. A wild horse wears the quarters almost more than the toe and the heel. Because if you've ever been out there in them desert environments where these horses are, they have to graze and scrounge for every little bite of grass. And in so doing, they are constantly rolling their feet from side to side to side to side. Okay? They do this more than they do that. And okay, let me tell you how they wear their feet. Okay, you've got the forward, the heel, and the forward. But then more than that, you've got the side to side grazing, going side to side, reaching for every little bit of grass. Okay, the least place they wear their feet is in the sides of the toe here. See, going over like that. That's just not, unless they're running and they go for a turn like that, that's just the least direction that the foot is worn. Okay. That is why when they went out and they researched these wild horses, they found that they were only bearing it when they put a board on the foot. They saw the weight bearing points here and back here. But in truth, when that horse's foot is on the ground, this whole thing is weight bearing. It's weight sharing. Okay, so again, that is why I then take the quarter that I've marked here and just take it back to the white line at, let's see, I don't know how to tell you what kind of an angle that is. Okay. Okay, now I will take this side as well back to the white line. This is hard. Okay, now remember these feet did not have a 2-inch heel. Now I might level out the heels a tad, but they're not 2 inches, so I'm not going to cut this heel wall down. All right, so anything I do on them right here will be very precision. Okay, you never want to do this to your heels. Never, ever. Always use precision. Come up to where your heel line is and don't go any lower. See that? Always this. Never drawing back like that. That will lower your heels. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Now this side, this heel is a little more run forward and pushing this side out. Okay? Gonna have a mess to clean up here. That's okay. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Now, I'm just going to kind of knock this barely off here a little bit. And barely knock that off. See how my wall is sticking up a little bit on my heels here? The rest of this is pretty much down to about the level of the sole, okay? But my wall and my heels is sticking up a little bit. Okay, you want that. See, you can use this hoof wall jamming to your benefit when you are growing Walbeck. You know, we want wall to be replaced in here. See? And so as it grows, it's pushing up the hairline here and replacing the wall that needed to be replaced in these heels. Okay, because eventually we want her to have about a 2-inch heel, 1.75 to 2 inch. 2 inches. She's at about 1.5 inches. Let's see, what is she over here? Just a little over 1.5 inches. But I know from this foot, which is the match of this foot, that she still does not have much sole. Now, this is a foot I kind of over trimmed. Do you see how I took out some of the sole here? Now, I can look at that and say, you know what? I really shouldn't have done that. Okay, I have a habit of doing that, of making a sole ridge before the foot has grown a sole ridge. So this dissection taught me that. And so consequently, when I would trim her, she would be tender for several days. You know, we want to get away from that. That's what the accountability is. You know, I'm going to quit, except where the sole has gotten thick. I'm going to try and really get on myself and quit trying to form a sole ridge before the foot is ready to actually have a sole ridge. All right, now we're gonna blend this in. So again, what did I do? I took this down at about a 45-degree angle back to my line. I took this down flat, down to the level of the sole in the white line. Then in the quarter, I took it down at 45-degree angle again over to the white line. And that just gives all these horn tubules on the side here a little bit of room. It looks like I've arched it, but I haven't really scooped the quarter. I haven't really arched it. I've just relieved it here as if the horse was wearing it that way from rolling side to side. Now, I can show you pictures of that wild horse of Pete Ramey's where you can really see how the foot is worn in the quarters. Okay. But my sole is still the same right here. Now, this foot is not totally correct. The heels would have to grow some more, and it would totally change this foot and level everything out and thicken up the sole. Okay, now what I want to do is I kind of want to blend all this in. Now, you see how the water line, the white line there, the white part of the wall right here. Now, you may be looking at it, and it looks like it's level and flat, but it isn't. This part's beveled. This part's flat. This part's kind of beveled, and this part is flat. But now, okay, right here is hardest hoof wall. My pins are all flying out. Right here. Okay, and right there, this wall is flat from here to here and level with the sole. Right here are the hardest outer horn tubules. Okay. Now what I want to do with them is I just want to take my rasp, and when I'm out and I'm doing the horse, I bring my rasp up under here almost straight, and I just come straight back, you know, which is kind of hard to do right here. So I'm just going to roll this back like this and blend it in with the toe. See, I could go back like this. See, I'm going to kind of blend that area right in with the toe there. And right in with the quarter. Now, I will finish the whole thing by feel. to get the sharp edges. Like this is a sharp, very sharp edge here. Okay, I'm going to come in there and feel that and get that sharp edge off. However you got to do it. To where I feel it's rounded. I got a little bit of a nub there. I just want to, because you know, this was flat, right? This was beveled down here. So I've got a little transition here. I'm just going to kind of blend those in. There. And back here, just get the sharp edge off. Just barely. You know, blending it all kind of in. And feeling it. Now I feel sharp edges right here. I'll come up here. Ah. Now my toe is going to be sharp, right? From my beveling the edge. Okay. So I'm going to come up in there and get that around that. I finish by feel. And what this is doing is this is leaving as much wall as it's rounding it, but it's also leaving as much wall as possible to, and the strength of the wall to support the sole here. Okay, now again, I'm taking and I'm just beveling over to the water line here. Remember, this was flat, okay? But I am just now taking the very outer horn tubules off. Now remember, in the toe, I came all the way back through the water line to the white line. I also did that with the quarter here. But in the sides here, okay, I'm leaving this water line next to the sole. Okay, now I'll come in here and I'll take my rasp and I'm going to blend all this in to make it one piece, but yet I haven't changed the way I've actually beveled. I have just blended the sharp edges and things like that in. See, there's still right here on the sides of the toe, this horse is really able to bear some weight here. See, because he's got sole and waterline combined right here. Now, as I said, I over trimmed. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just do this like this. I would feel that. I would be feeling it with my finger. I would be, while I, you know, if I'm outside and stuff, I'm just moving this over the side because it's easier. Okay, so I want all this just rounded off nice, but no deep, heavy Mustang roll. Okay, so that's pretty much it and stuff. Now, again, there is a reason why I bevel like this. There's a reason behind all of it. It's not just an indiscriminate rounding of the wall. You know, this little bit of room that you leave in the quarters is very important, but it's not scooping the quarters. That's not what you're doing, because you know that this foot really doesn't have an arch. It's flat. Okay, what you think is an arch is a deformed hoof capsule. So many of these hoof capsules are deformed when the heel runs forward and the heel trimmed out and it pulls all this down. And you see this? Her foot still wasn't right. Okay, shouldn't be like that. But what I was hoping was, as I continued this trim, that it would all straighten out. See? Look at the foot. Look at the foot. Do you see an arch in that foot? No. And as you can see, the hairline, even the hairline is straighter than it was when the hoof capsule was all attached to it and stuff. It has straightened out a lot. Now, if this here could just pull up some, you know, and be straighter like this fake one I made. See? And that would even be better. Well, that looks kind of crappy, but you get the general idea. This coronary band is supposed to go straight back, and then everything grows like that. So even though I'm trimming this foot, I know where this foot is at. I know what it needed. And it was still a foot in progress, but it was also doing a lot better than it had when the toe was out to here. And the heels were trimmed out, and everything was running forward. That's kind of all now. So nothing is catching here at the toe. There's some weight bearing here on the sides. The quarters are relieved so that these horn tubules here, if they need to come back, they got a little bit of room to push back like that. The heel, there's some heel left here, height in the wall. And that's pretty much it. And what this is, it is a maintenance trim, and it is a corrective trim at the same time, because what it does is it trims the foot in such a way as to facilitate remodeling if you keep it going. It's a happy mess. Yes, it is. Can't see it on the screen? Oh, sorry, Penny. Yes, it is. It is pushed out. When the heels were trimmed out, then they're trimmed out to here, and so with no heel buttress to support the heel, the wall pushed forward and pushed out like that. And then if you don't watch it, your frog will start growing that way too and fill up in here and push the bar over, and it just turns into a mess. No, I don't, Rufus, I don't roll with the pencil mark anymore. You know, something I do on occasion, okay, is this part of the wall here, kind of like, here's the pillar, but there's a place in between here and here, okay, that gets long, and you'll see it when you're looking down at it, and you'll go, I need to take that off. So you'll have to shorten this piece on occasion because these tubules are moving back like that. See? I'm going to set this down for a minute.